Sarah walked up the driveway at dusk, her backpack heavy after a long shift. She stopped. The spot where her Civic always was sat empty.
Did I park elsewhere? No. This is my spot. It was here this morning.
She rushed inside. Her father Kenneth was in the living room, feet up, watching television.
Dad, where's my Civic? The driveway is empty.
Sold it. Got a good price too, $6,800. Didn't you see the note?
You sold my car? I worked 2 years for that. How could you?
It was in my driveway. It was mine to sell.
Just then, Melissa swept in, twirling in a lavish prom dress that still had the tags.
Daddy, the limo company just confirmed, and the after-party rental is all set. This is going to be the best night ever.
Kenneth turned back to the television. Melissa's laughter filled the hall. Sarah stood frozen, betrayal pressing down. Sarah retreated to her bedroom, shutting the door on Melissa's laughter. She sat on the bed and pulled a crumpled photo from her drawer.
2 years of saving every tip, every paycheck. I found that Civic as a rusted lemon and fixed it up myself. It wasn't just a car.
She had replaced the head gasket herself, learned every rattle. That car was freedom.
And now it's paying for Melissa's limo. They didn't even ask. They didn't care.
She reached for her phone and scrolled to her grandfather's contact. If anyone would understand, it was Frank.
Grandpa, it's Sarah. Dad sold my Civic. He said it was in his driveway, so it was his to sell. And Melissa's prom is all anyone cares about.
Slow down, sweetheart. I am listening. Tell me everything.
Sarah poured out everything. The missing note, the price, Melissa's dress. Frank listened without interrupting.
Sarah, I need to ask you something. When you got that car, did you ever check the title? Who's listed as the owner?
The question hung in the air. Sarah hadn't thought about the title. Why would Frank ask that now? The next morning, Sarah stood at the DMV counter before the doors had fully opened.
I need to check the registration on a vehicle. Here is the VIN.
Honda Civic, 2006. The registered owner is Sarah. Is that you?
Sarah stared at the screen. Her name, her date of birth, her address. The title had been hers for 2 months.
Mine. It's actually mine, not Dad's. He never had the right.
I can print a certified record for you. There's a small fee.
Clutching the printed proof, Sarah stepped outside into the harsh morning light. She dialed Frank.
Grandpa, I am at the DMV. The Civic, it's registered to me, has been for 2 months. Did you do this?
I transferred the title on your birthday. I wanted you to have real ownership. I'm sorry it took this mess for you to find out.
The paper trembled in her grip. She wasn't powerless. She wasn't just a victim. She was the registered owner, and now everyone would have to recognize it. By noon, Sarah stood in the police precinct, sliding the certified DMV record across the desk.
I am filing a stolen vehicle report. The car is registered to me, not my father, and he sold it without consent.
The officer reviewed the title, asked a few questions, and typed the report. Sarah's hand did not shake. The officer handed her a copy. This is now active. We'll contact the involved parties.
Dad, I just came from the police. I filed a report. The Civic is being treated as stolen.
You did what? That's ridiculous. It's a prank, right? You can't file a report on your own father. Go ahead, tell them it was in my driveway. They'll laugh you out of the station. Now drop this before you embarrass yourself.
I am not dropping it. You sold something that wasn't yours.
You are just like your mother, dramatic and ungrateful. I spent that money on your sister. It's done.
She let him think he'd won. He didn't know about the title. Not yet. But that certified record was already in the system, and the consequences were moving faster than his arrogance. 2 hours later, Rick DeMarco's office phone rang. The police had traced the VIN from Sarah's stolen vehicle report directly to his dealership.
That Civic I bought last week. The VIN is clean. I checked. Why are the cops calling me about theft?
He ran the VIN through the DMV database himself. The screen refreshed. Registered owner, Sarah, not Kenneth.
Kenneth Rick DeMarco, the Civic you sold me. The title was already in your daughter's name. You sold me a stolen car.
That's a mistake. The car was mine. It was in my driveway. My daughter is just being dramatic.
The DMV doesn't make mistakes with titles. You defrauded me. I want my $6,800 back today, or I am filing a fraud claim.
The money's spent. Prom deposits. I'm not giving it back. It was a fair sale.
Then you'll hear from my lawyer. You just bought yourself a lawsuit, pal.
Rick slammed the receiver down. Coffee splashed across a stack of sales contracts. He didn't care. He was already dialing his attorney.
Get me Henderson. We've got a fraud case. A father sold his kid's car right out from under her. The registration was already in her name.
The phone call from Rick DeMarco hit Kenneth like a freight train. He stormed down the hall to Sarah's room.
Drop that report. The dealer is suing me because of you. You are ruining your sister's prom over that car.
The title was in my name, Dad. I have the DMV record. You sold my property. The report stays.
You'd let a piece of paper destroy this family? I'll make you drop it, right now.
But Sarah didn't flinch. She turned, grabbed the duffel bag already packed in the corner.
I am leaving. I am staying with Grandpa. I am done.
She walked past him, down the hall, and out the door without looking back. She reached Frank's porch as the night settled in. He opened the door before she knocked.
Come in, sweetheart. You are safe now. You did the right thing.
In her grandfather's quiet house, Sarah let exhaustion take over, but underneath was a cold resolve. The law was already on her side. The next morning, Rick DeMarco's lawyer filed a small claims suit. Fraud, misrepresentation, and receiving stolen property. Meanwhile, Melissa stood in a boutique, spinning in a $2,000 gown charged to her father's credit card.
This dress makes me look like a celebrity. Daddy, the prom committee will never forget this night.
The receipt printed. Kenneth's credit card swallowed the charge, on top of the limo and party deposits already draining the car money. That afternoon, a process server handed Kenneth the summons. He stared at the fraud allegation and the demand for $6,800.
The car money is gone. Melissa's dress, the limo, the party, it's all spent. I can't refund the dealer without ruining prom.
He read the filing twice. Rick DeMarco wasn't bluffing. The lawsuit was real, and Melissa's perfect prom was built on a stolen car.
Is the limo going to have champagne? I want to post it all online. This has to be epic.
Of course, sweetheart. Everything is set. Don't worry about a thing.
But when he hung up, reality tightened around his throat. He had no way to pay back the dealer without canceling prom, and the court date was 2 weeks away. That evening, Kenneth drove to Frank's house and pounded on the door.
Kenneth, what do you want?
Make Sarah drop that stolen vehicle report. She listens to you. Fix this mess.
I won't force my granddaughter to cover for your theft. You should be ashamed.
She's destroying this family over a car. You'll regret this.
Frank shut the door without another word. Inside, Sarah stood in the hallway, having heard it all.
You did nothing wrong, Sarah. He won't touch you. Not while I am here.
I know. Thank you, Grandpa. I'm not backing down.
Kenneth stormed home, and in his living room he hurled a coffee mug against the wall. It shattered, but the rage changed nothing. The prom was paid. The suit was filed, and he was completely alone. 3 days before prom, Kenneth wired the final payments. The limo company and party venue both confirmed. Every dollar from the Civic was spent. That evening, a test run pulled the limo onto their street. Melissa ran outside with her phone, broadcasting live.
It's even more gorgeous than I imagined. This night is going to break the internet.
The next morning, a certified letter from the court arrived. Kenneth stared at the hearing date, 2 weeks away after prom. He tossed it onto the growing pile. The prom would happen first. He'd deal with the lawsuit later. That afternoon, Sarah's phone rang. Rick DeMarco. She stepped into Frank's hallway to take it.
Sarah, the suit is filed and moving. I am not letting your father off, and I've added the limo company to the claim.
The limo company too? This is bigger than I expected.
She hung up and looked out the window. The prom was 4 days away. So was the reckoning. Kenneth had built his daughter's dream night on stolen money. Now the law was gearing up to take it back, one piece at a time. Rick's lawyer filed an amended complaint, adding the limo company as a defendant. The fraud claim now covered the stolen car proceeds used for the prom. The document alleged the limo company received $1,200 of stolen funds. They were ordered to return it or answer in court. The limo company's manager called Kenneth. Within hours, furious that his business was dragged into a criminal case.
I already paid you. The money was mine. I am not paying again.
The manager gave him 24 hours. An additional $1,200 or the prom limo would be canceled. The ultimatum landed like a hammer.
I can't. The money's gone. If I don't pay, Melissa's night is over before it begins.
He slammed the phone down and stared at the amended complaint. The dealer had turned the prom itself into a weapon. He glanced toward the hall where Melissa's prom dress hung, its sequins catching the light. The world felt like it was crumbling. Now Kenneth faced 2 lawsuits and a prom about to implode. The noose was tightening and he had no way out. The countdown to prom had become a countdown to disaster. And the first domino was already tipping. The certified demand letter landed on Kenneth's table. Pay $1,200 within 24 hours, or the limo will be repossessed during your event.
I am begging you. I already paid. I don't have another $1,200. Please, don't ruin my daughter's prom.
The limo manager was firm. No second payment. No limo. The line went dead.
You promised me a limo. I heard you on the phone. They're taking it away because of Sarah. This is all her fault. She's ruining everything. Tell her to drop the stupid report so I can have my night.
Sweetheart, I'll fix it. I'll find the money somehow.
No, you won't. You couldn't even keep her stupid car. My prom is dead because you are a failure.
At Frank's house, Sarah heard the shouting through a text from a friend. She set her phone down, expression unchanged.
Are you okay, sweetheart?
I am not enjoying this, but I won't stop it. He made his choices. Now they're just catching up.
The day before prom, Kenneth called every contact he had. Not one person would lend him $1,200.
It doesn't matter what they said. The limo will be there. Daddy promised. He always fixes things.
Her prom invitation still sat on the dresser, surrounded by glittering accessories she'd laid out weeks ago.
You've handled this with more integrity than most adults would. Don't let guilt pull you back now.
I am not stopping, Grandpa. If I back down, he'll just do it again to someone else.
That evening, the limo company called Kenneth one last time to confirm. The repossession order was locked.
You can't do this to a girl on her prom night. There must be something.
But the line clicked silent. He stared at the phone, then at the suit hanging for a prom he couldn't save. Outside, the limo sat on the company lot, gleaming under the night lights. Unaware it would soon become a weapon. Tomorrow, it would arrive. And tomorrow, it would be taken. The machinery of consequence had already started. Prom night arrived. The stretch limo pulled up, sleek and black, and Melissa ran towards it, her gown flowing behind her.
Oh my God, it's perfect. This is going to be the best night of my life. Nobody has a limo like this.
The limo glided into the night, bass thumping, sequins sparkling under the disco lights. None of them knew what was coming. The driver's phone buzzed. He answered, listened, and his expression hardened. He pulled over to a dark side street. He turned toward the back and said, "This limo is being repossessed for non-payment. Everyone needs to exit right now."
What? No, my daddy paid for this. You can't just take it back.
But the driver was already opening the door. She stumbled onto the curb, the hem of her dress dragging through grit and gravel. The limo pulled away, leaving her alone on a dark street. She started walking, heels in hand, mascara streaking through tears.
This can't be happening. I am going to be a joke.
At 1 a.m., Still in her ruined prom dress, Melissa walked into the house. The night her father had built on stolen money had collapsed.
This is your fault. You swore it was all paid. I walked home in the dark like a homeless person.
Sweetheart, I didn't know they'd actually do it. I'll fix it.
Fix it! You ruined everything. Sarah's stupid car stole my prom. I hate you both.
The next morning, a process server arrived with 2 more lawsuits. The limo company for breach and the after-party venue for unpaid balance. Kenneth stared at 3 separate lawsuits. The pile swallowed the table, red overdue stamps like wounds. He sank into a chair, head in his hands. Rick DeMarco, the limo company. The party venue. Everyone wanted their money.
I am buried. 3 lawsuits, no money, no family. How did it come to this?
At Frank's house, Sarah's phone rang. Rick DeMarco. She stepped into the quiet hallway.
I am returning your Civic, Sarah. I won't keep a stolen car. It'll be in your driveway by tomorrow afternoon. Full tank and an apology.
She thanked him quietly. Across town, a flatbed was already loading her Civic, and the tank would be full when she took back what was hers. The next afternoon, a flatbed rumbled up to Frank's house. Sarah's Honda Civic sat on it, clean and shining under the sun. The driver handed her a note from Rick. Full tank and an apology. You deserved better. The gauge showed full.
It's really back. After everything, it's here.
She ran a hand over the steering wheel, then rested her forehead against it. The car was hers. Again, that same week, Kenneth missed the small claims hearing. The judge entered a default judgment for Rick DeMarco, $6,800 plus costs. The judgment arrived at Kenneth's house in a thick legal envelope. He opened it, standing in the doorway.
6,800. I don't have it. The other suits are still pending. I am drowning.
The pile of lawsuits stared back at him. There was no more denying it. The money was gone. The judgments were real. And he was losing everything. At Frank's, Sarah sat in her Civic, engine off, breathing in the familiar smell of the old upholstery. She had her car. Kenneth had a judgment, and the cracks in the foundation of his arrogance were about to become a collapse. 2 days later, Frank invited Kenneth to his kitchen table. The trust document sat between them like a loaded weapon.
Why am I here, Dad? I don't have time for games.
I've seen the lawsuits, Kenneth. You are buried. I can make it all go away.
Make it go away? What's the catch?
Frank slid a single page across the table. The family trust agreement, with a highlighted addendum.
You sign over your trust, shares to Sarah. In exchange, I pay every judgment, every legal fee. You walk free, but you lose the inheritance.
You are joking. You want me to disinherit myself. That's blackmail.
It's a choice. Pride or survival. The trust isn't yours to waste anymore.
Kenneth stared at the paper, his hand twitching. He didn't reach for the pen. Not yet.
Take a day. The offer doesn't expire, but neither do your lawsuits.
3 days later, a foreclosure notice was taped to Kenneth's front door. The same afternoon, his bank account was levied for the outstanding judgment. He stood in the empty living room, the walls closing in. There was no more time.
Survival or pride. Frank's words. I have to sign. I have no other way.
That evening, Kenneth drove back to Frank's house. The trust agreement sat on the kitchen table, pen beside it.
You came back.
I'll sign. Give me the pen.
Kenneth lifted the pen. His hand shook over the signature line, then pressed down. He signed his name, legibly finally. Frank leaned over and countersigned, his expression unreadable. The transfer was witnessed and irrevocable. The trust shares now belonged to Sarah. Kenneth had traded his inheritance for a way out. He pushed the document back, stood, and left. The front door clicked shut behind him. Frank wrote checks that cleared all 3 lawsuits. Kenneth's debts vanished, but so did his power. The court stamped each case dismissed with prejudice. Kenneth's slate was clean, but hollow.
The trust is mine. After everything, The money is almost beside the point.
You've earned this, Sarah. The trust is yours.
She drove to her father's house one last time. Kenneth sat in the living room, a man erased. She lifted a box of her last belongings. He didn't look up. Without a word, she walked out and drove back to Frank's. At Frank's, she loaded the Civic. He helped her carry the last duffel bag.
Drive safe. You are always welcome here.
She adjusted the rearview mirror, watching Frank's house shrink. Then she turned onto the highway and didn't look back. 2 days later, Melissa found out the truth. The trust fund was gone, signed over to Sarah. Kenneth had given it all away.
You gave her the trust? After you ruined my prom? You lost everything. Everything. I have nothing left because of you. I am done. I am going to Aunt Carol's. Don't call me.
She slammed the door so hard the empty frame shuddered. Kenneth didn't move. He just stared at the wall. The house fell silent. The only sound was the hum of the refrigerator and the distant bark of a neighbor's dog. On the wall, a lighter square of paint marked where the family portrait used to hang. He'd taken it down himself months ago. Not realizing it was a prophecy, Kenneth sat alone in the darkening room, surrounded by the wreckage of choices made in arrogance.
I thought I was in control. I was never in control. I just broke everything.
The foreclosure notice still hung on the door. His daughters were gone. The trust was Sarah's, and the driveway outside was empty. Some gambles don't just cost you money. They cost you the people who should have mattered most. The Civic hummed as Sarah left town, the rearview mirror shrinking the familiar streets to nothing.
She thought revenge would feel sharper. But this isn't revenge. It's just the truth catching up with everyone.
She pulled off at an overlook where the valley opened wide. The engine ticked as it cooled. The trust documents sat on the passenger seat, dense with legal language, simple in what they meant.
2 years of saving. A stolen car. A prom that imploded. Dad thought he could take everything, but he never owned it. The title proved that.
Golden light filled the Civic. For the first time in weeks, her shoulders dropped. She folded the papers and tucked them into the glove box. The proof was hers, but she didn't need to keep staring at it. The engine turned over. She pulled onto the highway, the road open, and waiting. Some victories don't need applause. They just need you to keep driving. Frank was in his garden, pruning roses in the morning quiet. The sun caught the silver in his hair. He had planted these roses the year Sarah was born. Now they bloomed in a yard that felt at peace. Across town, Kenneth's driveway was empty. Weeds had already started pushing through the concrete. The foreclosure sign leaned near the mailbox. No cars, no voices, just the hiss of a sprinkler. Someone forgot to turn off. The limo company's lot had been sold at auction. A single tire sat in the corner of the empty garage. Melissa sat on her aunt's spare bed, a suitcase open, staring at her phone where the prom group chat had been archived. She hadn't posted anything since the night she walked home in that ruined dress. By the time dusk fell, Sarah was 300 miles away. The Civic's odometer kept turning. She never called Kenneth. She never checked the town's local news. She didn't need to. In the garden, Frank snipped a dead branch and set it aside. The roses kept growing. The Civic climbed an interstate merging north. The engine steady and familiar. Sarah drove one-handed, the other wrist resting on the window frame. A thin silver bracelet, Frank's birthday gift, caught the light. The sky ahead was orange and pink, the kind of sunset that feels like a door opening. She'd learned at 17 what takes some a lifetime. Ownership is not about keys.
It's about knowing who you are when everyone else tries to take it.
The bracelet slid down her wrist as she shifted gears. She didn't look at it. She already knew it was there. The exit ramps blurred by, the roads straightened, and the Civic ate up the miles. She didn't need an apology. She didn't need a confrontation. She just needed to be the person behind the wheel. The Civic climbed a long, gentle rise, then dropped over the crest, and by the time the taillights vanished into the horizon, She was no longer the girl who had once stood staring at an empty driveway.